Well. Welcome to the stretch with Miss Imani. All right, I'm not going to delay. I'm looking forward to the word and to the music. For those who are new, welcome. We're gonna get going. I think today is going to be a good day. I declare it. Today is going to be a great day. I just woke up thinking about sometimes you got to think about your blessings. You have to count your blessings and think about what is good and not so much what's not working. All right. And that's what I did this morning. So I'm feeling good and I want to get started, but let me do a few house cleaning items. Okay. First, I want you to know for those who are new to the home, this is going to be two 15-minute sections. Each stretch is 60 seconds, which is a minute. There will be a timer in the corner. You'll be able to follow along, which also means that you can modify the stretches. Don't panic, all right? You can do whatever your body needs to do, long as you are moving, stretching, and breathing nice and deep the whole time and listening and paying attention to what your body needs, okay? This is not a competition. You can modify. You can even do a whole different stretch if you need to. Do what you need to do, but we're still together on the same page because we're doing this together. Okay, so it's good. So give yourself some grace in that area. The first section you'll know it'll be word. Use that positive, motivating truth. Put it into your stretch to motivate a deeper stretch to motivate to put action to what you're receiving in your mind, what you're receiving in the nugget here, so that this process can also teach you how to take something you know and put it into something you do, right? Okay, so practice that doing the motivational part. Also, you'll learn that it may make you stretch a little deeper and make you even more flexible sooner because you're putting action. You're taking that word and you putting it into movement and action. The next 15-minute section will be music. So typically that's when we kind of pull things down into a deeper type stretch and you just let that music go and motivate you and encourage you as you do your stretch. All right. The first stretch, the monster stretch, is the slow, intentional check-in stretch. That is the stretch that you do. You design that stretch yourself. You completely design the stretch. Try not to do some kind of typical stretch you already know about. Try to do something that is just tailored to you feeling and checking in with your body. So that means it's called the monster stretch because that means it may not look pretty and cute, but it's okay. It's so that you can move in ways you don't typically move in your regular day, so that you won't find yourself doing something at work or at home and you kind of like tweak something, because your body will at least get used to slowly down, not quick, moving in, just kind of awkward ways. All right. That's what the monster stretch is for. So that's going to be our very first stretch in both sections. So don't copy me. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. If you think that this can benefit somebody else, please, by all means, share, because that helps the channel. That's how you can contribute to the channel, by sharing. All right. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself to take out all the distractions, and then we're gonna get started.
Like what they say about me in the blogs. It don't matter what they say. They don't know me. They don't even know me. They never met me. They say negative stuff about me. It don't mean nothing. Look at me. What I care what they say. God keeps blessing me. It don't matter what you say. You got to know who you are and whose you are. I know who I am and I know who I belong to. And that God of mine ain't gonna let nothing happen to me. If you do not include God in your life, man, you're making a horrible mistake. You're doing yourself a horrible injustice. You're making this way harder than it's got to be. God really does want to help you. He really does.
We all have things that come against us. It's easy to live uptight, wondering how it's going to work out. What if the medical report isn't good? What if my finances don't get better? What if my child doesn't get accepted in that school? We tried to figure it out. We've done our best, but we don't see anything changing. If we're not careful, we'll live worried, discouraged, not expecting it to get better. But there's a simple phrase you have to keep down in your spirit. God's got this. He's on the throne. He sees what's happening. He already has the solution. You don't have to figure it out. There may not be a logical answer. In the natural, you don't see a way. That's okay. We serve a supernatural God. He has ways to do it we've never thought of. And instead of trying to force it to happen, living uptight, you have to let go and let God. When you turn it over to Him and say, God, I know you've got this. I know you're in control. Not only will you feel the heaviness, the weight lift off of you, but God will make things happen that you couldn't make happen. And some of the things that are frustrating you now, causing you to lose sleep, that would all change if you would have this new perspective that God's got this.
Everything that's happening to you is God is processing you. Every difficult moment you're having, He's just processing you. That's all He's doing. Everything you're going through is preparing you for what you ask God for. And if you need to be tough when you get to where you're going, then He's going to toughen you. If you got to be more caring along the way, He's going to let you have some trials come your way that's going to have to produce that in you.
Saying we trust God is one thing, but when we really trust God, we enter His rest. Trying to trust God is frustrating, but when you really trust Him, you really don't worry about the situation because you know that God will take care of it. You don't know when, you're not trying to figure out when, you don't know how, you're not trying to figure out how, you're just, you know God will do it.
The challenges of life. How do we get stuck? A friend of mine went through a divorce. My best friend. He had a wife that did not love him as much as he loved her. It was his first real true love. He was a very religious man. Did not believe in divorce. He made a mistake. And he paid for his mistake with a lot of pain, a lot of tears. And there came to a point where he knew he should have gotten a divorce. But he was stuck. He was stuck in something called revenge. He said, she's made me so miserable, I'm going to pay her back. He was stuck. And he stayed in there longer than he should have because it began to attack him. It began to affect him psychologically. And as a result of that, when he eventually did get a divorce, he took that same attitude to other relationships, looking for something to go wrong. He was burned so badly, he did not want to risk pain again. He was going in relationships trying to avoid pain. When it became too close, he would do something to make sure the relationship did not work. He would always try and find something wrong with the person because there are no perfect people. So if you look for it, you can find it. He was stuck in revenge. Another friend of mine, working on a job, loved the company very much, expected to retire there. And one day they called him in the office, asked him for his badge and identification, called the security man up, walked into his desk, told him he was fired and he had to leave then. He was devastated. And if you came anywhere near him, he will tell you his story, as we all have stories. Even when he got a job, he went on the job telling anybody who would listen how they fired him unjustly. And he always ended with, it wasn't fair. Life isn't fair. Life just is.
Don't worry about the people that God has removed from your life. He saw things you didn't see. He heard conversations you couldn't hear, and he made moves you wouldn't make. And that's it. I lived in a car for 3 years. I had nothing. But I made a decision, man. I just started talking to God every day. I just started asking him for help, to hear me. If you call God and you ask him to hear you, he hears you. I'm just telling you, it's real. God is real, man. Don't let nobody fool you. Listen to me, young people. Don't let nobody fool you. Come by your house, knock on your door, talking about it ain't no God. You think because somebody say it ain't no God, you think that make it true? God is real, man. If you're trying to make it in this world without God in your life, you're making it way harder than it's got to be. I'm telling you, man, I did it. I did it without him. It does not work. I flunked out of school. I had a severe stuttering problem. I couldn't talk outside my house. I'm on my 3rd marriage. I lost everything I ever owned twice. I've been homeless and lived in a car for 3 years. You can't tell me nothing about what he can't do for you. Nothing. Let me tell you something, man. I've been bottomed out. I'm talking about flat bottomed out. Nothing. I was talking today with my oldest son. He said, man, Dad, every time I hear about something you went through, I just go, how did you make it? I just kept his faith, man. I just kept believing that God didn't bring me this far to leave me.
Sometimes we're trying to play God. We're trying to make our boss promote us, make ourselves get well, and make the contract go through. But as long as we're trying to force it, living frustrated, worried, then God steps back. But when you take your hands off and say, God, I know you've got this. I'm not going to worry about my finances. I'm not going to live uptight because of the medical report. I'm not going to be frustrated because I haven't met the right person. God, I trust your timing and I trust your ways. My life is in your hands. God never promised that we wouldn't have difficulties, but He did promise He would give us strength for every battle. He would take what was meant for harm and use to our advantage. You may have a good reason to worry about something. In your health, your finances, a dream. You've done everything you can. Doesn't look like it's going to work out. Stay in faith. God is saying, I've got this. I'm working behind the scenes. I'm in the process of turning it around. It's just a matter of time before you see things change in your favor. Now, live out of a place of peace, a place of trust. It may not happen the way you thought, but God's ways are better than our ways. God knows what's best for you. He's got this. Don't get discouraged when you face things you don't understand, obstacles that are bigger than you. That's simply an opportunity for God to show you who He is. It's one thing to believe that God has power, believe that He can do the impossible. That's good. But God wants you to do more than just believe. He wants you to experience His power. He's going to show you His greatness, show you His favor. David had all kinds of things come against him, not just giants, armies, his own family. He had plenty of reasons to live worried, afraid, bitter. But he said in Psalm 27, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord protects me from danger. Why should I be afraid? When people come against me, they will stumble and fall. Though a mighty army surrounds me, my heart will know no fear. Even if they attack, I will remain confident." David lived with this attitude. God's got this. I'm not going to be worried. I'm not going to live upset. I know He's bigger than any obstacle that I'm facing. He said a little later, when trouble comes, God will hide me. He will place me out of reach, high on a rock. You may have enemies coming against you, but you have an advantage. God has placed you out of reach. They can't defeat you. They can't keep you from your destiny. Now do like David, remain confident. Keep your peace. It may feel like you're surrounded by an army. The truth is, you are surrounded by God's favor. The forces that are for you are greater than the forces that are against you. David said, even if they attack, I won't get upset. Sickness may have attacked you. Addictions may have attacked. Debt may have attacked. That's a test. Are you going to get worried? Live in fear? What if it doesn't work out? Did you see the medical report? There are 40,000 students. What if he doesn't meet the right people? Stay in peace. Remain confident. God's done it for you in the past. He's going to do it for you again in the future. In a few verses, David said, I am confident I will see the goodness of God. After all he had been through, you would think he'd be negative, worried. God, where were you? He was just the opposite. I know I'll see God's goodness. In other words, I know God's got this. I talked to a lady recently. She had been through a divorce. She was carrying all the hurt and pain. She never dreamed her life would turn out like it had. And she was confused, discouraged, wondering why it had happened. And one day, while driving in her car, she felt God say to her, I still have a good plan for your life. Let go of the old. I've got this. At that moment, she made the decision to stop worrying, to stop being down on herself. She let it go. All of a sudden, she told how this heavy weight lifted off of her. She got her joy back, her passion back. Now, new doors are starting to open. New relationships, new opportunities. She's starting to see the beauty for ashes. It all happened when she changed her perspective. Is something weighing you down today? Are you worried about a situation? Frustrated by what didn't work out? Or maybe down on yourself because you're not where you thought you would be? God is saying to you what He said to her. I've got this. It's not a surprise to me. I have new beginnings. I have healing. I have breakthroughs. I'm asking you to change your perspective. Switch over into faith. That situation at work that you're worried about, God's got it. That medical report that's keeping you up at night, living stressed is not making it any better. Be still and know that He is God. He has you in the palm of His hand. He's got this. And yes, you may have enemies coming against you, but like Daniel, God has placed you out of reach. He's made you lion-proof. Now, all through the day, when you're tempted to worry, keep this phrase playing in your mind. God's got this.
Don't forget to pray. But don't be ashamed to pray. And don't be too proud to pray. Listen to me. I don't care how dark it look for you. I don't care what they done said to you. I don't care what the verdict is. I don't care what the haters say. Prayer changed things. I'm talking to a girl that I grew up on a block, man, that it didn't breed success. A lot of people on our block ain't here no more, man. I grew up in a place, man, that was you had to be something else, you come up out of there. Prayer changes things. I was told I would never be nothing. Prayer changes things. I flunked out of school. Prayer changes things. I'm on my third marriage, lost everything I've owned twice. I've been homeless and lived in a car for 3 years. Prayer changes things. Prayer. The cool thing about prayer is the one thing that's available to everybody at any given time. Do you know that God ain't ever too busy for you? You know that
Cool
God
down.
actually knows who you are? Do you know that God actually created you to converse with him? Do you know that God would actually love to hear from you? You're not going to make it without God. If you've tried it so far, tell me how that's working out for you. It sucked, don't it? You need God. Don't you think I got here without him. I've needed him every step of the way. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't even be standing here today. I'm telling you right now, you need God. You need to tell him that you need him. Quit being ashamed about it and worrying about who looking. Go somewhere by yourself today and tell God you need some help. Tell him that you're just tired of trying to figure it out for yourself. God has an incredible life for you. He really does. But you ain't gonna get there if you give up. You can't get to what
Activity
God
completed.
got for you if you stop. You can't get to what God got for you if you're afraid. Now I know taking chances is kind of fretful, but the best things in life is on the other side of fear. But one of the things that I've always done to help overcome my fears is I make my dreams bigger than all my fears. I have dreams that's so big that not getting there is just unacceptable. It doesn't make any sense for you not to have the life that you dream of. It does not make any sense. God really does want to use you as an example of what he can do.
All right. Never disappoints, okay? Let's go ahead and jump into the second 15-minute session, all right? This is going to be music. Let's go ahead and get started. Remember, the first stretch is yours. All right, let me go ahead and mute myself. Let's get started.
When you say
Warm
it's
up.
already done, when you step in, the battle is won. There is no question or need to worry. It's already finished. When I was hurting, you made me a promise that you'd stay here and never leave my side. That's why I'll trust you, Lord, now and forever. It's already finished, yeah. And I put my hope in you. I put my hope in you. If you touch it, it's in the sky. When you heal, it's
and it's bringing me to my knees. And I'm crying out, Lord, I need you now to come and see about me. And why is this life so hard? And why do you seem so far? But if this cup won't pass, help me to stay steadfast. Let your will be done. You get the glory from this. You get the glory from this. No matter what I have to go through in this world, as long as you get the glory from it. You get the glory from this. Yeah. You get the glory from this. No matter what I have to go through in this world, as long as you get the glory from it. And this is my cross to bear. This is my story to tell. That no matter what I've gone through, I've been tried and came out true. So let your will be done. You get the glory from this. You get the glory from this. No matter what I have to go through in this world, as long as you get the glory from it. You get the glory from this. You get the glory from this. No matter what I have to go through in this world, as long as you get the glory from it. Tribulation, persecution, my affliction, hey, you get the glory from it. In my weakness, in my brokenness, in the crushing, you get the glory from this. On the mountaintop, in the valley low, you are in control. You get the glory from this. On my good days, on my bad days, I will still say, you get the glory from this. Please get the glory from this. No matter what I have to go through in this world, as long as you get the glory from it. I wish that I could change the weather just to see your smiling face. You know I'm with you, come whatever. We're gonna see the brighter days. Don't lose hope when the world is against you. Every high, every low, I am for you. Don't let go when you're at the end of your rope. I'll hold you, darling, don't lose hope. I'll stay here with you till the morning breaks, until the light moves past the dark. don't lose hope. We can make it out alive. Oh, you know that I believe it. Even after the darkest of nights, oh, the sun will shine and you'll feel it. Oh, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope when the world is against you. Every high and every low, I'm for you. Don't let go, you're at the end of your road. I'll hold you, darling, don't lose hope. I'll hold you, darling, don't lose hope. I'll hold you, darling, don't lose hope. There's been a miracle, I'm living proof. 'Cause I was dead in the spiritual, but I walked out the tomb. I've been raised to life by the power of Christ. That amazing grace has made me brand new. So if you're looking for the only brother, he's not here. I heard that resurrection calling for me loud and clear. Now I'm wide awake, check that empty grave. If you're looking for the old me, he's not here. No, he's not here. Listen, it's unbelievable, this love I found. It forgave the criminal and tore the prison down. I've moved past the past, I'm free at last. Hallelujah, nothing's holding me down. So if you're looking for the only brother, he's not here. I heard that resurrection calling for me loud and clear. Now I'm wide awake, check that empty grave. If you're looking for the old me, he's not here. No, he's not here. Hallelujah, Christ is risen, left the tomb and took me with him. He's not here. Brought my soul from grave to glory. I'm alive like Sunday morning. He's not here. No. Hallelujah, Christ is risen, left the tomb and took me with him. He's not here. Brought my soul from grave to glory. I'm alive like Sunday morning. He's not here. So if you're looking for the only brother, he's not here. I heard that resurrection calling for me loud and clear. Now I'm wide awake, check that empty grave. If you're looking for the old me, he's not here. He's not here. No, he's not here. No, he's not here. No, he's not here. No, he's not here. Who can love me like you do? I can be prone to wander, too full of pride sometimes. I don't make it easy to love this heart of mine. I I can get so distracted, caught up in doubt and
Cool
fear.
down.
But every time I think you've left me, you're still right here. Who can love me like you do? I'm a mess, I confess, but you carry me through. Who can calm my weary soul when I'm lost and alone? Thank God that I know who can. Only you can hold my head up. Only you can help me see. Only you can break the grip that sin had on me. And I know I don't deserve it, but that's why you call it grace. You covered a debt that I could never repay. Tell me who can love me like you do?
Activity completed.